Bears 34-17. Detroit now 13-2. The Vikings also 13-2 after besting Seattle 27-24. The Bills held off the Pats 24-21 to move to 12-3. The Falcons beat the G-Men 34-7 in quarterback Michael Penix Jr.'s first NFL start. Jonathan Taylor ran for 218 and 3 scores. Colts topped the Titans 38-30. Bengals over the Browns 24-6. Chuba Hubbard ran for a game-winning 21-yard touchdown in overtime. Panthers eliminate the Cardinals from playoff contention. Dolphins knocked off the Niners 29-17. Rams topped the Jets by 10. The Cowboys stunned the Bucs 26-24. Atlanta now in first place in the NFC South. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-949-1331. That's 800-949-1331.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, happy Monday to you, everybody. Happy Reaction Monday to you. It is Jacob Albrocht and Brandon Zenner in for Tommy today. Jad Chambers producing for us as we get you ready for a holiday week. Getting everybody ready for Christmas. Hope everybody's having a great holiday week, enjoying the time off with the kiddos. Most of us still have to work, at least for a little bit longer. So we'll have plenty to help you get through your day today. We're going to talk, of course, about the Kansas City Chiefs, now one win away and a couple of days away from trying to lock up home field advantage. A lot of college basketball to talk today. Shockers, Wildcats, Shockers win going away. We'll have the voice of the Wildcats joining us here in our next segment. And we'll have plenty to get to there as things are unraveling for K-State at the moment. KU played as well this weekend. We're round one in the books of the college football playoff. Lots of other NFL to talk. Brandon, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jacob. The drama that we didn't necessarily get in the CFP, we sure got it last week in the press conference rooms for college basketball. It carried into the weekend. A great NFL slate that we had yesterday. So much drama, even down to Sunday night football. And we have a lot to talk about on this Monday.
Hope everybody made some money with some bets this weekend as well. Yours truly heating back up a little bit. I went through about a 3-4 weeks spell there, Brandon. Now I'm back on fire for the last few days. So that's been fun. We'll see if we can make a little money tonight with this turd of a game. And we'll look at some of the bets as we get later into the program. We'll have Wyatt Thompson in. This K-State basketball thing is getting crazy. Just the narrative around the program right now. So we'll talk to Wyatt about it. Great atmosphere. Shout out to everybody, K-State or Wichita State fans that showed up on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun. It was so good to see Koch Arena feel like that again. It's almost like we've had that in the TBT games over the summer to some degree, but it's been a while for a regular season game for the Shockers. So that was really, really cool. Hope that energized the Shocker fan base a little bit. And then, of course, the Chiefs get it done on Saturday against the Texans. By the way, college football playoff, I have some thoughts. Well, what the hell are we doing? Like, why are we taking this long to play these games? But we'll get into that later. Real quick on the Chiefs, and then we'll get Wyatt Thompson in our next segment, Brandon. That was a really impressive win. They ran the ball fine. We always watch that with this team. Will they run the ball? Will they commit to the run? 20 carries, probably like to see a little bit more, but I didn't feel like anything was egregious with the flow of that game. I thought that was just about right. You know what the takeaway for me is in that game? And yes, the Chiefs get the win and the defense plays good. It's Xavier Worthy. And I say that because I was pretty critical of him early in the season. Everyone wanted to line him up against Rashee Rice. Tommy kept saying he was fine. He clearly is. It was slow going at the beginning, and there were a few things, but man, he has become quietly, I think, a really big part of this offense. And I think it's happening quietly because I think everybody just sort of kind of forgot about him because it was such a slow start with so many mistakes and things like that. And now all of a sudden, like, he has become this consistent force in the passing game. If you go, I mean, we're going now, Brandon, on 6 games in a row here where he's kind of the, he's kind of the pacemaker for this offense. And I'm not sure, even if I imagine things going really well for him in a rookie season, and I kind of thought he was a year 2 guy, I never really imagined it looking like it's looked lately. I kind of saw him as a shot play guy at best this year, but man, he's become just steady Eddie in this offense.
Yeah, we saw it in the Buffalo game. They really started to target him. And then I had the stat last night on Sports Sunday on KWCH. The last 6 games, he has at least 4 catches and at least 40 yards in every single one of those games. He did not have that stat line in any of the first 9 games of the year. So they're making a real concerted effort to get this guy the ball, whether that's on these jet sweeps like we saw 3 times on Saturday. You watch him, and it's like you see shades of Rashee Rice just with how they're getting at the ball real quickly. The slants, the bubbles. They're going to take their deep shots with him. I don't know if we expected this level from him because we expected the Rashee Rices. We expected Hollywood Brown to take some of that away from him. But this rookie's been impressive when he's been called upon this late in the season. And I mean, it's huge for the Chiefs to get this added weapon as we near the playoffs.
It's a really strange dynamic too, because like Rashee Rice was very quickly and very clearly like the only option last year. That development over the season, which is why he probably got off to his pace just a little bit earlier than Worthy did. But what I think is the most interesting is what you said. We came into this year and it was like, okay, this guy has all the talent in the world. How can they even use him with all the other weapons they have there? Right. And then those weapons went away for, due to injury. It was like, okay, well, I hope he's ready. And of course he's not. But the other thing I think that has made it very different than we thought the way it would look. And listen, I think DeAndre Hopkins' arrival has probably been the thing that opened him up. But it's the problem early was if you want him to be your shot play guy, they can't take shot plays because their offensive line is terrible in the pass blocking. And so you've had this guy come in and we all thought we would see this thing that we can't see because they can't block it up. And then everything just maybe got away for a few weeks and we just kept waiting and they kept missing on big plays and all of these little things. Well, then Hopkins arrives. They get some stability back in the offense. He redefines his role, I think, as much as anything. And he's really been able to thrive in it. And shout out to him. Shout out to the coaches for being able to make those adjustments in season. But that's hard for a rookie to do. And they're getting healthy. Rashee Rice is off the table, right, for a playoff return or no? I mean, we've been back and forth with that.
But he's posting on social media. All these guys are. He got cryptic with Hollywood. We thought Hollywood Brown was done until maybe AFC Championship weekend, and then you start seeing the cryptic stuff come up. Rashee Rice had a post. I can't remember if it was earlier this last week or 2 weeks ago. Never count out anything with these guys, especially how often do you get to chase a three-peat, whether that's Rashee Rice coming in and maybe he's able to take 8 snaps in a game. I mean, who knows? But I think the biggest thing also with Worthy is Andy Reid notoriously holds back these rookies. We see it in the case of every single high rookie they take, except for Kareem Hunt, who had a historic debut his rookie year against the Patriots. But they said in recent weeks, we got to take the reins off of this guy. And it's resulted in yet another win and win closer to claiming that top seed in the AFC, they can get it done on Wednesday.
It'll be look, it's going to be fine. I think. I don't know if George Pickens will play, but I think the Chiefs they match up pretty well with Pittsburgh without him. It's not a great matchup with him. This will be interesting. We can get into this later. The way that the Chiefs line up and match up with most of the teams you fear in the postseason match up pretty well because they stop the run. That's the thing. Like Houston could never get Joe Mixon going if the Chiefs can just stop the run. And I know they're leaky through the air, right? Which could bite them. And they've still yet to score 30 points and all of those things. I get it. But they stop the run. And we know they can run the ball. They're probably not going to, but the pass blocking has been a little bit better the last couple of weeks. So I'm probably I still want them to, but maybe less of a priority now because when you have all those weapons in the pass game, you're going to have to throw the ball. And that's what they'll do. But they're doing it the right way. We'll see. I think they're fine against Pittsburgh this week. It's a short week. We'll get into that, if not today, tomorrow for sure, because they turn around and play on Wednesday. But look, it's a big win against Houston, and it's a win that makes you feel good. And it's a win with Worthy going like that, and knowing Hopkins is there, and knowing they have Hollywood Brown back. And now you're starting to see. Now I would be scared if I was the rest of the league. I would definitely be scared if I was the rest of the league.
What ankle sprain?
Oh yeah, and that, right? Like, he's fine. We knew he was fine on Monday when he was practicing. It was like, okay, he's fine. There's nothing there. Gumby strikes again. It's one of his great attributes of all the things he does well. Staying on the field is one of them, and taking those kinds of hits. All right, we'll come back. We got a lot to get into with K-State Hoops, and we're going to do it with Wyatt Thompson. They've also got a bowl game coming up in a couple of days, so it'll be a lot to unpack with Wyatt Thompson here, voice of the K-State Wildcats. We expect to join us next segment. Stick around for that. We'll have much, much more. It's Albrecht, it's Zinner, it's Sports Daily on a Monday.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love. and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back into Sports Daily, everybody. We are glad to be joined on the IHOP hotline right now by Wyatt Thompson, voice of the K-State Wildcats, official breakfast partner of Xbox. IHOP is come in and try the decadent fully loaded French toast only at IHOP. Wyatt, I hope you had an enjoyable time at Coke Arena the other day. I know it was an enjoyable outcome, but it was a great atmosphere and one, folks around here have been waiting to see for a few years, but it's not a good time right now for Wildcat basketball program. No quality wins through the non-con and a lot of question marks. And I think some of the question marks, if I'm being totally fair, because I like Jerome Tang, I think a lot of the question marks are being self-inflicted here with post-game reactions to the most recent couple of losses.
Well, you said a bunch there, Jacob. Good to be on with you. Merry Christmas to you. I had a good time to answer your first question from the standpoint of, and I'm going to be honest here, I was treated very, very well getting in and out of the building. Their people are awesome. I love their radio and TV crews. They're just good people. They really responded, I thought. They played poorly against Kansas City, and nothing against the Roos, but they just didn't have the juice, I don't think. But in this game, with I don't remember exactly what they said, but it was a little over 8,000, if I'm not mistaken, right? And they were into it. And you could look all around the arena and see, some purple and lavender splattered throughout there too, which was great. I was really happy to see that, especially with the way this season has played out to this point. But, you're right. I mean, it's difficult to drive away from there and feel good about, what's going on right now for K-State, just because there are some issues, no question about that. And the bottom line is they probably were not the better team in the first half and still led by 4, right? And then you get into the second half and you're right there, tied at 48 with 12 minutes to go, and they outscore you 36-17 down the stretch. That's just not good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, why? Just when fans dissected this last week from post-game remarks to falling behind by 20 against Drake, coming back, taking the lead in the second half, getting the game tying shot in overtime in the last 10 seconds, and then leading Wichita State on the road in the second half, but still coming away 0-2, a 3-game losing streak to end non-con. Where should fans be sitting at with this team?
Well, I think frustration. You have to start there. I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I had a great feel for what they were thinking, but here's what I think they were thinking. I think we all felt that the coaching staff did a really good job of going out there and getting a lot of pieces. I mean, how many times have we said, even just on this show, they have more length, more athleticism, more depth. It's going to be easier to score, all of those kind of things. So I think the fans know that. They're smart here. They've been around Kansas is a basketball state for the most part anyway, if you're honest with yourself, all the way through history. Shockers have great tradition. K-State and KU too. It's just what it is. So I think they had a pretty good sense. Like, I'm just being honest, I think everybody thought they were going to be a lot better. And unfortunately, they haven't. And I think we all understand the reasons why. They have been inconsistent offensively. Transition defense has not been good, and they're a poor rebounding team. Simply stated, that's where they're at, and thus you're at 6-5, and reeling going into conference play, which is not what you wanted.
I mean, look, they live and die by the three. I mean, to me, it's too simple. I shouldn't be able to understand, technically speaking, what the issue is. I'm a basketball simpleton, but they live and die by the three, and now we're seeing that for 2 years in a row. Look, the reality is, for me, and this is what's bugged me a little bit, is against Drake, you had a nice comeback performance. You probably had the best game of the year from Coleman Hawkins, but the headline is coach shaming, those are his words, not mine, the fan base that he told, get one court storming out of your system because you won't need to do that anymore. The expectation was set in year one, and they're not meeting the expectation. And it feels now, whether it is or it isn't, it's a lot of excuse making. Don't be mean to our 23-year-old millionaire. You can't do, shame on you. Those aren't real fans. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And then after the Wichita State game, again, Brandon can help me with the quote because he was there, but basically, like, this game doesn't do anything for us, essentially putting a dagger into the hope that they can't keep scheduling this game. The reality is it doesn't matter. Like, the K-State, if they get good in the Big 12, none of this matters anyway. But now, this game doesn't do, that's what Kansas used to do. Of course, this game means something to K-State. Of course, it does something for the fan base. You can't tell me a home and home isn't good for the program if you're going to fill the arena up if they play Wichita State in a regular season game. It sounds petty. I know that I can say things that you can't, but that's, I think, snowballing this feeling after, with the way the program's going is what's being said after the game. It all feels like excuse making.
Well, probably so. I understand the thought. I do. And I'm not going to try to refute it, but I will say this. He told me before the game that he didn't necessarily have interest in doing this type of contract again or doing a home and home at some point down the road. So I think he feels that in his heart. I have found him to be a very confident guy in himself and his staff and the way they do things, whether you agree with it or whether you don't. And I think he still thinks that they can get this thing figured out. Can they? I don't know that we know that. There are enough deficiencies that you certainly worry about it. But I think he believes that it can be done. And I guess I'll just say that I guess it's a good thing that he's that confident in where they're at 6-5, because everybody else is questioning everything he says and everything he does at the moment. And
I get that. I get it. And
Yeah.
I don't honestly, it's not I don't have it's the 6-5 is the 6-5. They're not playing well. Like I can handle that, but I
Right.
just don't like using the word shame in a fan base, the fan base that's had your back, the fan base that's gotten you a raise, the fan base that's done all these things for you. Don't shame
Sure.
them because some knucklehead's mean to Coleman Hawkins after the game. Kid's 23 years old, making a couple mil. He's fine. He doesn't need it. Right.
Mhm.
I just, that kind of stuff can make things feel a whole lot worse than they are. The whether you should play Wichita State. I mean, I think they should. What does it what does a buy game cost now? Like, what did it cost Wichita State to lose to UMKC versus $80,000 versus what do you gain from filling up, whether it's Bramlage or Charles Koch Arena? Like, the bills are getting higher now with revenue sharing. Every non-con game should be like that. These programs need the money. I don't know. It just annoys me, I guess.
Well, you do, and I don't want to speak for Coach Mills in any way, and I respect the job he's doing there. I don't know what he would say about scheduling those bye games. I think it has become harder, right?
Yeah.
It is. I think, if I'm being blunt, I think there are some in our fan base that have said, hey, the better teams that you're playing this year in the non-conference, Wichita State, Drake, those types of teams, you're not playing them in Bramlage. So I get that. And I personally have enjoyed the series. I mentioned to Mike the other night that, when the first year I was at K-State in December of that year, K-State and Wichita State played at the Kansas Coliseum, because if I'm correct on the information there, I think that is when the arena was being refurbished.
Right.
And I loved it. And it was a good series for a couple of 2 or 3 years there. And I do think the fans in the state like it. I do. I guess I'll say too, I think Coach Tang is a big thinker, and I think he thinks, winning championships, right or wrong. And I think he feels like there's more to gain for Wichita State. Some people that will make mad, and I don't mean to do that, but I think that's kind of the way he sees it, right or wrong.
Now, when you look at this Kansas State team, there's stacking up against other teams in the Big 12. There's nothing they do particularly well. They don't rebound the ball exceptionally well. They don't make free throws. They don't shoot the three at an exceptional clip. What's going to be their recipe in Big 12 play, in your opinion, that's going to get them? Because at this point, we're probably talking about you got to be in a position playing your best basketball when March comes trying to win a Big 12 tournament championship. How do they get that done?
You know what? I don't know. I think the easy answer here is they just have to become more consistent. But there are enough things that you have concerns about, and you labeled them out there perfectly. Can you do all of that on a consistent basis? Because you're sitting here 6-5. You guys, you can look at the schedule and see who K-State has beaten and who K-State has lost against, and you don't see a lot of quality wins there. So common sense is going to say it's going to be tougher in the league. And because they're 6-5, they're going to have to play great. If you're still talking about being an NCAA tournament team, I don't know that I'm necessarily doing that. I'm more hoping that they can become better at some of these things and give themselves chances to win each night. Will it happen every night? No, but that's the way I'm looking at it. They can be a better rebounding team. Are they going to be in the upper third of the league? Probably not. Shooting it, turnovers, foul line. You mentioned the free throws the other night.
6 of 15.
K-State goes 6 of 15.
Not acceptable.
Yeah. Meantime, the Shockers are 20 of 22.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
They'll sometimes we try to make it too hard. It's not that hard.
They'll shoot well enough in games to win big-time Big 12 games. They will. Yeah. They'll shoot the three well in a game and they'll win, but they got to figure out how to run some different offense. Wyatt, let's talk a little football here. It is Rate Bowl week. You guys get Rutgers on Thursday, day after Christmas, get to head out to Phoenix where it's probably a little warmer. 6.5-point favorites. These games are always so difficult. I guess you just start with K-State knows they'll have their quarterback play, which is a lot more than some teams, can go. But how do you go into this? And I think the chatter is maybe Dylan Edwards' role becoming the thing we pay the most attention to. Do you subscribe to that with DJ Giddens leaving? Can Edwards handle a big workload like that?
I think he can handle more. I don't know if he can handle the Giddens workload, meaning, 25 or 28 carries, but I don't think they'll ask him to do that either. I think they're going to use him like they've used him all year, probably just more touches though. And I think these guys really like Joe Jackson, and I do too. I think Joe's going to get some opportunities. It's interesting. I think everybody, when they showed the depth chart for the bowl game, I think there were some surprises on there. But that's the truth for everybody. I mean, here we sat. The game is Thursday afternoon at 4:30 Central Time. And what do we know about Rutgers in terms of some of their star players? Well, we know Kaliak Manis is going to play. We don't know. I'll bet they do, but they are not saying whether Monungai will play or not. They're not saying whether Dymere Miller will play or not. If I'm a betting man, I'm guessing they won't.
Yeah.
So it kind of evens things out, to be real honest.
Now, what are you going to be having your eyes on as far as a lot of these players we're going to see coming back as far as the young talent on the offense? We saw Avery Johnson. It was his national coming out party in the Pop-Tarts Bowl a year ago. Yeah. Is Joe Jackson that guy that is going to come away maybe the biggest winner, or who else should fans have an eye on?
Well, I think there are a lot of kids that I could probably mention. Joe would certainly be one of them. I mean, I almost look at him as a veteran guy, even though he hasn't had a ton of opportunities, just because he plays so hard. He knows what we're doing. He's going to be a part of this without DJ. We haven't talked about Jacob Parrish, but he's opted out, and I think he'll make the league, or at least have a real good opportunity to. So where does that leave K-State? Well, they're probably going to start Justice James, but it means Zayshawn Rich, who's a true freshman, will see some time. And just sprinkling through there, I think Donovan McIntosh, Jack Fabra's still a young player. Zayshawn Rich, as I mentioned, those guys are all going to get some time, no doubt. And then on the offensive side, I guess people have noticed this. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But John Pastore is kind of a swing lineman for us. He's had surgery. He will not play in the game. So what does that mean if Easton Kilty, something happens to him at left tackle? Well, it's probably going to either be Jackson Fulmer or Gus Hawkins. So there are a lot of things that I'll watch. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've come really to understand with Coach Kleiman his thoughts about this is different than last year. And I know he loved those seniors, including Cooper Beebe, but this group are the guys that were here, you know what I mean? And Coop too, that when he got here. So they've been with him the whole time. Gonna be a little emotional to tell those guys goodbye after this one. And yet I think he's really excited about the young people in the program and the ads that are going to be here, in the spring or next summer. And that's kind of, I know that's a long answer, but I know they didn't finish the way everybody wanted them to, but I still think this is a pretty good football team when they're hitting on all cylinders. Now let's go out and show it one more time. That's what I think.
Last time you guys were out in Phoenix, it was a successful trip. The big win in the Cactus Bowl and Bill Snyder's final year there before he handed it off to Chris Kleiman. So I know there's a lot of fond memories there in Phoenix, and hopefully they'll do it. And look, I think we're all Jerome Tang guys. Hopefully they get it turned around too, because a week from right now, the next time we talk to you, Wyatt, we'll be ready for the start of Big 12 play.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A week, right? And it seems like a long time, but it'll be a blink of an eye, of course. And I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm sure you have. Cincinnati's off to a really great start. They're 10-1. They're ranked 19th in the country going into the poll that will be released today. They're really long and athletic and talented. Got loaded with good guards, Dan Skillings, Jizzle James, Day Thomas. I mean, they're really good. Then we go to TCU, Oklahoma State at home, and Oklahoma State there in Houston at home. So, strap it on. Here we go.
Yeah, it's never gonna let up. I don't think,
exactly.
And it's gonna be a blast. Well, safe travels to Phoenix, Wyatt. Merry Christmas. Let's see if we can get another big win in Phoenix, and then get back here and get this basketball thing turned around.
I appreciate that, guys. Merry Christmas. Good to talk to you.
There goes Wyatt Thompson, voice of the K-State Wildcats. If you missed any of it, you can always go back and listen on the Odyssey app. The show gets podcasted out there for you to grab. Just search for Sports Daily, search for KFH. It's easy to find. Hey, thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning here on KFH. We're going to come back. We'll dig deeper now into the Chiefs. We'll get to the Shockers. I know we covered the game just briefly there, but we'll get to the Shockers side of it because that is a massive, massive win for Wichita State. We'll have that. KU played this weekend against Brown. Probably not a lot of time needed there, but it happened. We got a lot to get to today, including those college football playoffs in the first round. IHOP Hotline's back open for you the rest of the way at 869-1240. We're coming right back. Albrecht and Zinner on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right. Look, if you're looking for a big old great Christmas present for your wife, maybe a home remodel, but you're like me and, well, you can't do any of that stuff yourself.
Is that done yet?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. In fact, Pep and Suter has been back to check on a few things. So Pep and Suter Remodeling, I've told everybody this, did our kitchen remodel. We had a big project over the summer. And even now, if we have any questions, quick to answer questions, quick to check things out for us, make sure everything's okay. That customer service is why I would recommend them to anybody. That and their bid came in significantly lower than everybody else who bid out that project for us. So whether it's interior, exterior, large, small, whatever it is, if you're planning any kind of home renovation, give Pep and Suter a call. You can call them at 316-573-6822 or go to Pep and Suter, PEPINSUTER.com. Check out some of their work. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. Fantastic work, great prices. Couldn't recommend them enough. All right, Brandon, we come back here. NFL weekend, a little bit messy, quite honestly, for some of the teams in the mix here. The Panthers beating the Cardinals. We saw the Commanders beating the Eagles. So angry with the Eagles for letting Jalen Daniels pile up all those stats in fantasy football. But, as an aside, but we saw that happen. Your Vikings hung on. The Bills hung on. They survived their scares. The Buccaneers did not. As we look back, of course, you go all the way back and the Broncos lose to the Chargers. So a lot of teams in the mix losing this weekend. It's going to be a mess getting into the postseason here. And, that's, again, as it pertains to the Chiefs, you look at the chaos of these seasons. It's funny. Like, is anybody questioning the Bills now as they survive against the Patriots of all teams? 24-21 here. We don't talk about that the same way the Chiefs were being talked about for a stretch. I think as we come into this now with the Chiefs needing just one win in 2 weeks, they are kind of becoming, I don't want to say a heavy favorite, but a clear favorite, I think is fair because you play the games at Arrowhead. Buffalo is probably the team that scares you the most, but we've seen Buffalo lose to the Rams. We just saw Buffalo almost lose to the Patriots. Like, I don't think it's as shaky nearly as it was not that long ago. The Chiefs to me look like a pretty heavy favorite.
Yeah, especially there was a time yesterday where Chiefs fans were probably thinking that they were going to be popping champagne last night when the Bills did not look good against the Patriots. You have the Steelers just throwing up a clunker against the Ravens. A really weird week in the NFL, and that's just a reminder to fans that there's no pretty wins, ugly wins. It doesn't matter. A win is a win in this league. We need to remind ourselves of that because we talk about that as much as anybody. But yeah, everything is still in line for the Chiefs. And you wake up this morning, and what did you know? They're yet again Super Bowl betting favorites, which it's been a while since we could say that in this league. When the Lions, they were the favorites. The Eagles have been up there. The Bills have even been ahead of the Chiefs. But the sports books are seeing what's happening with this league, and just the Chiefs continuing to chug along, and it's there for the taking.
The Lions, to their credit, and I would say they may be I wouldn't call it the most impressive win, but going on the road with all the injuries they've suffered in the last couple of weeks and really not ever letting the Bears have a chance in that game was pretty impressive as we look at the totality of the week. But yeah, and the thing about the Chiefs is that we have forgotten about, because there are so many things to get laser focused on, is that they haven't been healthy until the Texans game. They haven't been healthy. This is the first time we've seen this team, and they still don't have Rashee Rice, by the way. So they're not totally healthy for what we thought they'd be, but they're as close as they've been since week 1, right? Hollywood Brown comes back, has an impact on the offense. Now you've got you've got more passing options than you can handle. You got both of your running backs there, and they can continue to take care of Isaiah Pacheco and sort of ease him in or keep him on ice to some degree before the postseason starts, where you can really cut him loose. The defense is finding its legs again because the pass rush is finding its legs again. And Joe Thuney might just win himself an MVP because he's been marginally better at left tackle. But he has been marginally better at left tackle. He is, he's not a Pro Bowler out there, but for them to just say, all right, we're out of, let's just throw Thuney out there. Like, that adjustment has been significant. I think things have looked much better because of it.
Yeah, we talk about getting healthy, and then Chris Jones leaves the game on Saturday with what they're calling the calf strain, which, if you're the Chiefs at this point,
just don't play.
Why risk it? You let him – you just need one win. You get the bye. He can have a month off, and then because if he's gone, he's maybe the second most important player – obviously, maybe Joe Thuney's the second most important player
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but with how scary this pass rush has been the last couple of weeks, if you watch that game against the Texans, the thing I don't think we talk about enough is while the secondary is very leaky in the back end, they are a really good tackling secondary group. And that's the Texans came in and said, we're going to try to do a bunch of quick passes, but the Chiefs got him down behind the line of scrimmage time and time again. The Texans weren't able to run this ball, and that's because of this pass rush with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. And if Chris Jones isn't out there, it's a completely different, not just defense, but entire team.
He's one of the best at his position ever. And it's a really good point. Rick agrees, by the way, says just need to rest him, and at least need to rest him against Pittsburgh. I don't think there's any question about that. And then see, that's a weird game plan for the Texans. The way to beat the Chiefs is not going to be with a quick passing game, because the one thing they do is tackle well at just about every position. So the Chiefs, when they've struggled, right, it's been on third and longs and things where receivers have a chance to get loose from the secondary, which is not as good as it once was, but it's at least half the field is there. But the problem for the Chiefs when their defense was struggling is they were getting no pass rush to take that element away. Now they're starting to get that. I don't know what woke up in George Karlaftis, but it's there now, and he looks really good. You got to limp in here, but yeah, I think that all things point to the Chiefs being in a really good position, and there are plenty of teams that are really good that can give them fits, certainly, but they'll get even more, you hope, healthy with the time away, and they probably will get home field advantage. And we'll just have to see. And if a team's going to beat them, it's going to be through the air, because they're too good against the run. And so then you break it down even further. What teams can do that? What teams are not run dependent right now? Which teams can throw it around on you? And I think those are the teams you look at as the teams that become the biggest threats, but they also have to be able to block it up. Because if the pass rush comes alive, that's why Buffalo is still very dangerous, by the way, because Josh Allen can take away a pass rush on his own. But, the Ravens probably fit that mold, but we all know the Ravens are a much better team when they run the ball. And people just don't run the ball on the Chiefs right now. You had Jerome Ford break off a 60-yarder. That's like it for a really long time as far as success in a run game against Kansas City right now. And I think that makes them really dangerous. It enhances your chances to win anytime you play in a bad weather game, which at Arrowhead Stadium in January is pretty often, right? Like it's all in a good place. And I think Chiefs fans should feel really good. Yeah, I'd put Chris Jones on ice too. Hopefully they can get the win against the Steelers without him. I think they can, especially if George Pickens doesn't play, because that's a totally different team without George Pickens. TJ Watt isn't 100%. Like, the Steelers are trying to limp in and get healthy themselves. But if you get it locked up, then becomes the question of, Do you rest in week 18? Do you potentially go, I guess it would be, and this blends into our college football discussion that we'll have in the next segment. So if the Chiefs wrap this up on Christmas, that would be the 25th. Okay, then you would rest the 5th. So you would have a potential of going up to 2.5 weeks without playing football. I don't know what you do in that situation. I don't know that you want to rest and sit everybody for 2.5 weeks. I think they might have to play people for at least a little bit in that final game. That will be, if they get this done, that's going to be a fascinating discussion because I don't know what you do there.
Oh, when you say play people, yeah, you play people named Carson Wentz, and
you sit Mahomes for 2.5 weeks.
That's probably what they'll do. Maybe the old, hey, we're going to give you a drive here.
Yeah, I think that's what I would probably do. First I would just say, hey, Pat, like, what do you want to do? If he says rest for 2.5 weeks, then it's easier. Like, okay, you can sit. But if he doesn't, like, if those guys don't feel like that's the right thing to do. I almost feel like if Andy Reid shows us in the preseason that he wants to get those guys out there for a little bit, is it all that different than that? I don't know that it is.
Yeah, and the thing with doing what you do in the preseason in week 18 is obviously the roster limits and whatnot. You only have so many guys you can dress on game day. But it'll be fascinating to see what they do because we last year they didn't play in the last week, but they didn't have the bye. So
right.
As you could say, we could see by the time they turn around and play in the divisional round weekend, whether it's on Saturday or that Sunday, it's going to be 3.5 weeks because they're going to have a Wednesday game. So there's an additional 4 days of rest, a week 18, a wild card round. No team is ever going to complain about time to get healthy.
No.
The rust.
And the week 5, and people have brought it up, and it's a good point. They haven't had a bye week since week 5. That does make it a little bit different too, I think. Get it done though, because then you get easier decisions with Chris Jones. You don't have to risk it against the Broncos. Like getting it done Wednesday is critical. And I don't know if you've looked, Brandon, at the line yet. I have not looked at the line. But I can real quick. It's okay. So the Chiefs right now are 2.5-point road favorites, which is interesting against the Steelers. And if Pickens doesn't play, I love it. And in fact, it's probably an opportunity to take it now in case he does try to play. But 2.5 on the road right now, the way things are going, I think you like your chances. Russell Wilson's probably going to get his because he's one of the better deep ball throwers we've ever seen in football. And that's been the Chiefs' problem. But I like the Chiefs in that game. I think they'll get it done on Christmas. And we'll have more time to talk about that game, of course. But it'll be the decision I'll have to make because I think they will get it done, and I think they'll lock it up this week.
And the best part about it is they can control things themselves. They don't have to sit around and wait to see a result from Buffalo. If they get the win on Wednesday, they can come home, they can open some gifts, and then they can go spend the weekend at Power and Light and party away if they want to, because a lot of these guys are going to be on ice.
That's it. Chiefs fans, you can chime in. Rick says Pickens is trending to play. I haven't looked that far ahead yet. I'll take your word for it, Rick. That does change it a little bit.
Very real chance.
Yeah, Pickens makes that offense go. There's no question about that, what they've been before and after his injury. So that one we'll watch because that's a potential. But maybe they shadow him with McDuffie, and then you can go that way too. But we'll see. Chiefs, Christmas Day, we'll have it. All right. When we come back, I want to talk about the college football playoff, and I want to dig into the Shockers side. I know we had Wyatt Thompson on the Shockers side of how big that win is for this program. I think the energy tells that story pretty well. And if you've been paying attention, the energy right now is high, which is good. Because UMKC had it pretty low. Now it's back up again. We'll talk about all that in hour number 2. Your calls, IHOP hotline stays open. We'll give away some HTO in hour number 2 as well. Don't go away. Sports Daily coming right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht, Brandon Zenner in for Tommy today as we are getting you ready for a holiday week, a shortened week. We will have a show today, no show tomorrow, no show on Christmas Day. I can tell you, though, that I will be on the air at 5 a.m. on Christmas Day for the Infinity Sports Network. I'll have you from 5 to 9. How about that? And I believe Tony's taking that locally here, so you should be able to hear that. So, if you're up early, if you're up late, maybe, whatever it is that you're doing on Christmas Day, give us, just tune in, give me a call. I'll be hanging out there early in the morning.
Then late in the week, myself and Paul right here on KFH on Thursday, and I believe Friday, myself and TJ.
Yeah, and we'll try to join you guys for some picks as well. So it's kind of a holiday week feel, and the next week will be a little bit more of the same with off New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But we'll get you all taken care of. It's a strange week of timing and when games are. So we've got to get things tidied up. So we'll do that here in this hour. We're talking about the college football playoff. We've been talking a little bit about the Chiefs. We'll hit the Shockers and their big win. A lot to cover here in the second hour. The IHOP hotline is open for you, though. It's brought to you by IHOP, official breakfast partner of Xbox. Come in and try our decadent, fully loaded French toast only at IHOP. Let's talk college football playoffs here, Brandon. First year, we get the extended playoff. Look, the games were not ultra competitive. You had, 2-score wins essentially in all of them. Unless the problem here's my beef, and I love the system, and I'm so glad it's in place, and I know it's going to make the game better, and it is. But you're trying to put yourself up against the NFL too much. But B, it's the same problem with why I've always said the 4-team playoff for the college football national championship never has the same luster. It will be 25 days, Brandon, since we've seen the teams essentially that are in this thing, and like 25 days to see Oregon, the top team. What do you think? Like, you think people are going to stay locked in outside of Oregon fans for 25 days?
Absolutely not.
Of course they're not. There is no reason we wait as long as we do to play those first round games. The first round games should be played 1 week after conference championship week wraps up. That's it. That's simple. 1 week. Now we'd be into the third round. I know it. New Year's Day, great. Have the semifinals on New Year's Day and make one of them the Rose Bowl. Like, can we stop overthinking all this? You're just like, all you do when you do that is that you invite college basketball to creep into people's brains. The NFL further takes its stranglehold because it's playing games basically every day of the week at this point. The NBA has just kind of hit its groove. Like, it's nonsense. It makes no sense. And people will say, oh, well, look, these games are blowouts and not everybody's that interested. It's because, like, we don't even know. Like, I have to look. Like, I was like, when are they playing this second round? Like, when do we see these games? Because I'm trying to, like, going day by day. This is ridiculous. Like, you cannot expect this to work and take these gaps. And listen, at every other level of football, high school, college, whatever it is, they're playing games every week. They don't take these gaps, and I don't know why college football insists on doing this. For the bowl games, I get it. You're trying to sell tickets, maybe. I don't get it. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I don't get it.
For this, though, like, are you telling me that you don't think if Ohio State is playing Tennessee 1 week after conference championship week, you're not going to fill up the horseshoe? Of course you are. Like, what are we doing? Why are we overthinking this? Just get after it.
I think you're being way too harsh on them. The CFP clearly has this figured out, because the next games we're going to get on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. That's only a week and a half wait. And then they have the perfect scheduling after that. Oh, wait, it's a Thursday and a Friday night, another 10 days later. And then the national championship on a Monday. And let's be real, people are still going to be reacting from wild card weekend in the NFL that week. And anyway, it's pretty crazy why we need 2 weeks. All these underdogs, not a single one covered all weekend. So the extra game planning definitely didn't benefit the underdogs as well. Maybe the shorter wait time would actually benefit the playoff because you only have 1 week to prepare instead of two weeks, or in the case of some of these teams that didn't play in championship games, like in Ohio State, like in Tennessee, they already knew who they were going to be playing. They could start diving into the film with 3 weeks of prep. Right. Yeah, I think it was a huge swing and miss for the first year of this expanded playoff.
And it's so here's the other fascinating part of it for me is what will happen now to Boise State, Oregon, Arizona State, and Georgia, who have had to take that time off, right? What does it look like for them to have that much time and their opposition be fresh from a game? I would suspect that Arizona State, Boise State, Georgia, and Oregon are all going to be in a little trouble here this next round. And they're all the only team of that group, I suppose. So Oregon's a dog in this game, for what it's worth. The only home team that is favored, technical home team, these are all neutral site games now, is Georgia. Otherwise, it's the lower seed essentially who comes in and in some cases is a heavy favorite. Penn State's an 11-point favorite over Boise. Texas is a 14-point favorite over Arizona State. And then you have Ohio State favored. And then Georgia is a slight favorite over Notre Dame. But I think those teams have massive advantages by playing a game 25 days for Oregon since they've played football.
It's a potential rust factor, like we just talked about the Chiefs. When it's too much time off, I don't mind it in the sense of the Georgia Bulldogs because in all sense of purpose says I haven't looked too much into it, but I don't think we're going to be saying Carson Beck play. He's got the elbow issue, so they get some time with a new quarterback. But I think in the case of everyone else, now you're playing a team that they just continue to keep rolling in the fact of all these teams that just won. And we're gonna see. Ohio State is a fascinating favorite over Oregon because they were on the brink of beating them in Oregon just earlier this year.
And it takes time. I get it. Got to get it right. I don't know what, and I don't think we've seen them yet. And maybe we have. The ratings are a little sluggish. Of course they are. Again, of course they are. We're playing these games too long after. I'm going to fix college football because we're making it better here. This will be better. This will help better determine a national champion. But here's what we're going to do to keep teams like Indiana out, who didn't deserve to be there, but you had to put there. I'm not saying that the committee got it wrong, but they didn't deserve that. What we're going to start doing is we are going to start playing a 4-team conference tournament. You get rid of cupcake games. They're gone. We're done with them. They're out. Maybe you can have one, right? But they're gone. You're going to play top 4 teams in each conference are going to play a semifinal and a final. That way you don't have in these mega conferences a team that skirts through without playing anybody, Indiana. Okay. You do that. You play your conference championship week. We don't take any weeks off, right? That just happens in succession. And then you take those champions. They get their buys just like it's set up now. You don't have to go to 16 teams yet. You can try, but you start it right away. And then maybe you've got a team like Oregon who got 2 weeks off. We're talking about this with the Chiefs. We're talking about, man, do the Chiefs really want to take 14 days off? 14 days, that's a long time. And maybe it would be longer because of the Christmas Day thing. This is a weird year for that. But we're talking about 25 days for these teams with a bye. That is absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Andrew brings up Army Navy. It's high. I've got all the appreciation in the world for Army Navy. Play it on a different day or something. You can't let a singular game without any implications for a championship overlap, because right now what you're going to have, and it's a good point, Right now, what you've got is people uninterested, and that's what you're trying to solve anyway. But man, we joked about this as we went off the air. Like, I have interest in one bowl game that's not involved in the playoff, and that's K-State, because I cover K-State for a living. I will not spend 1 second with any other bowl game played this year that's not involved in the CFP. Most people are like me. You've got bettors that pay attention to them, and you have fan bases that pay attention to their individual games. But as a general public, like, what in the world would draw me to whatever the game is? Duke, Ole Miss. What? I don't know. Who cares about that outside of Duke and Ole Miss, or somebody that wants to bet the game, right? So it's like we're treating these CFP games like we treat bowl games. Don't let people forget about it. Why are we playing the national championship historically so far after the season is played? We have to let go of this New Year's Day thing and trying to cram them in on no. Play them on a Saturday. Get with the NFL, like whatever you need to do. Play them whatever day of the week. I don't care what day of the week you play them. But, just play the games. 3.5 weeks for Oregon. 3.5 weeks. That's insanity.
Well, and I'm baffled in myself. We were talking about New Year's Day, and I'm like, oh, that's just around the corner, right? No, we're still 8 days away from the next game coming up. I look down, and the computer says the 23rd. It's mind-boggling. But also, going back to the Indiana talk, it's crazy because Indiana might have been the biggest winner of the weekend. No underdogs covered. And at the start of the weekend, it looked like Indiana was going to be the biggest loser. Instead, their 10-point loss was the closest by any team against Notre Dame, who I haven't looked at the odds, but I imagine they're one of the 4 favorites now to win this. They're looking at as good as anybody in the entire playoff. And then you look in the case of many of these teams, they had chances early. Indiana gets the interception. They get down, throw an interception of their own inside the 98-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame goes on to win. Clemson leading at Texas early. We knew that wasn't going to hold on. SMU had chances early. They throw. They had the 4th down where they throw it in the end zone, and the tight end fumbles, or the tight end just doesn't haul the ball in. Penn State drives down and scores. We had the makings for all these games to be excellent. It didn't pan out to be, which was unfortunate, but as much as Indiana is getting dogged on still, and we're getting dogged on up to the point, hey, they might have been biggest winner of the weekend of all the.
No, I could say that, but they didn't. Again, that two issues for me, and one is what we've seen. Here's what we've seen. I think, and we got to learn in this, right? It's year 1. I think here's what we've seen. Mega conferences are they're not too big, but we have to do something to help the unbalanced schedules where teams could slip through without playing anybody. That's going to get harder as conferences get bigger, right? And I think if you took the top 4 and lost one cupcake game and just did it as a little semifinal, I think A, fans would be really into that, and B, it would help you solve that problem. If Indiana got into a 4-team semifinal, essentially, that included Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State, and they win one of those games, great, put them in. But they weren't going to win one of those games. They weren't going to beat one of those teams. Now they've lost 2 games. They haven't beaten anybody. All of those things. It gets easier to maybe take a team who's clearly better, but doesn't have the same kind of record from another league. Whatever it is that you want to do. Colorado, for example. Like, let's use them as an example of a team that was fringy, that maybe hit their stride late, or whatever it is. Do you make room for that kind of a team? And now you don't have to put a team like, because you had to put Indiana in this year. They just weren't very good. Not compared to these teams, I don't think. No offense to Indiana, it's a great story, but we all knew what was going to happen to them. So that solves that. We've learned that now in year 1. Okay, we got to do something with unbalanced schedules. I think that's an easy solution. And now we have to do something about all this time in between. Like, I am sorry. I love football. I love football as much as anybody loves football. You're not going to keep my interest in something for that long without playing any games. Like, you can't. There's no way that I'm going to hold on to that for as long as they expect people to hold on to that so they can hit some arbitrary dates down the road. Just move everything up. Wouldn't it be awesome if we were one round further and we were looking at New Year's Day to have the 2 semifinal games?
You mean the Hawaii Bowl is not carrying you over tomorrow night?
It's not, but it never has, right? That's not a product of the CFP. That it never has. I just don't care about bowl games, and I think people are being dishonest if they say they do. I mean, it's football. People might put it on and watch it anyway. Those are for the fan bases, and I love them for the fan bases. I love that K-State fans have a chance to go to Phoenix and watch another football game. It's great for K-State fans. Great for the people that want to travel to those games. Fun for the team. But for the casual fan, it doesn't do anything. And so stop making these CFP games feel like casual bowl games, because that's what they feel like right now. They feel like these random games that get stuck like a month away from the last time we saw them play. And then it's like, well, what are we doing here? So anyway, that I think is the bigger. I didn't have a problem with the margins of the wins in the round. That doesn't bother me. Like, if you stretch that out over time, we're going to look at this in 5 years, and there will be all-time classics played in the first round of the CFP. There just will be. Just weren't this year, but that'll happen. I'm not worried about that as much. I don't think that contributes to lower ratings. People don't know a game is going to get out of hand when they start watching it, but you have to give them more of a reason to start watching it. And you're not going to do that if you take that much time off. And it's not that hard. Like, it's not hard to figure out why maybe it has felt a little slow or people weren't as interested in it. Of course they're not. It's just fix it. Make it better. And
take a note of the NFL. Play games. Play them as often as you can.
Keep
they
your
own the calendar.
Sport, in the headlines at forefront, no matter what you do. We should be watching these teams. We should be watching Oregon's second or third game on New Year's Day. If you want to force it to New Year's Day, which is fine, I get that. But the NFL is just going to start playing games on those days, and you're screwed anyway. Like, that's what's going to happen, right? Like, the NFL is just be like, all right, well, let's play flex games that we can slide our 2 games that have playoff implications onto New Year's Day, and nobody's going to watch college football anyway.
I also bring up the Hawaii Bowl. You know who's playing in the Hawaii Bowl?
No idea. San
Jose State's hosting South Florida.
Nice.
That's a casual 11-hour plane ride.
A long trip
for a Christmas Eve game.
I honestly, like, if you quizzed me right this second on who's playing in what bowl game, I could tell you the Rate Bowl. And that is with my life on the line. That is the only one that I could tell you right now.
Iowa State Miami Pop-Tarts Bowl. I know that one because people want to see Matt Campbell eating a Pop-Tart.
Some people do, not this guy. I don't care. I don't care. That will be a fun one. Like, if that one's on and I happen to stumble into it, I might spend some time with that game just because I like those 2 teams are good, but it's not like appointment viewing. Anywho, if you want to win some HTO, right now is your chance. Text the keyword T to 20357 to win your chance at a free iced tea. You can get one sweet, unsweet, a free reign iced or hot coffee, one of each. Message and data rates apply. You can enter once per day. Good luck, everybody. And we will be taking a break here. IHOP hotline's open. Our video comments are open. Facebook, YouTube, X, 12 News Connected. Thanks to everybody for watching us. Last show for a couple of days here, so we got a lot to cover as we come down the home stretch. Let's go back to that shocker game over K-State. Look at the Wichita State side of it. If you missed anything with Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Wildcats, K-State fans, I know there's concern. You can go back and listen to that on the Odyssey app. We'll talk Wichita State side of it next on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back. Sports Daily. It's Jacob Albrock, Brandon Zinner with you on a Monday. It'll be the last show for a few days, so we're trying to cram it in here for you. Crestview Country Club supporting the program. They've got some stuff coming up for the holidays. They got a great restaurant, a lot of sales at their clubhouse right now. They'll have a New Year's Eve event I've seen. Lots of stuff you can do with the kids. Give Crestview a call. There's all kinds of memberships there. It's not all about the big golf packages, which are there and are awesome, but there are other social ones as well. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. We appreciate their support of the program. Shockers, K-State, Brandon. I've been thinking about, I don't know how to power rank that win, that crowd, that atmosphere, and what it means to the fan base, but it's as high as we can remember in recent memory, wherever you want to put it. It was the Xavier Bell game. He clearly had something extra for that game, maybe a product of where he's from, maybe a product of, I don't know what it is, but man, him on the attack, K-State had no answers. And it was really good to see. But I thought even more than his play on the court, which was great in the game, it was his attitude that felt contagious to me in that one. He had something extra for K-State. I don't know where that came from, but it was there. It was fun to see. And you and I were both in the arena, and it was. I mean, that's Coke Arena. That's why everybody loves how that feels when they're visitors. I saw a lot of the K-State beats talking about that kind of atmosphere. And it's, they call it a mid-major, but the reality and the advantage for Wichita State has always been when the program's going right, it's not mid-major. I mean, that's as good as you get anywhere in an atmosphere like that. Yeah, you talked about Xavier Bell. Him and Corey Washington really set the tone. Specific play that stood out to me, 41 all in the second half. And Corey Washington misses a layup, ball gets tipped out. He dives on the floor, throws it, the ball eventually, a couple of seconds later, ends up with Justin Hill, and he hits a three-pointer. And that's what Paul Mills alluded to after the game, is that's Shocker basketball. We saw Xavier Bell doing the same stuff with where his fire is just on display, playing smart basketball. This team is at its best when they're playing like that, when they're diving around, when they are playing in transition, when they're getting to the rim, because this is still not a great three-point shooting team. They're going to have games where they do shoot the ball well. But when this team plays like they did on Saturday night, there's no reason this team cannot go and win the American Conference, or at least compete with Memphis, especially when they're going to be getting Ronnie DeGray back, who hasn't played for this team in a month and a half. And he's the best defender in the entire conference, one of the best rebounders in the entire conference, especially offensive boards. That's where this team has been getting killed when they've had slumps. And I think if you're a Shocker fan, Saturday has to, if that doesn't give you a reason to get out and watch this team, I'm not really one who ever is going to sit here and say, fans, right, you have to get out. Spend your money how you want to spend your money. Right. I get it. But this team, they have the makings of, they can be competing to be in the NCAA tournament. That's legit. That's not me sitting up here being a homer. The team has the chemistry, has the fundamentals to be playing in March. The issue is, can they ever overcome resume-wise the UMKC loss? That's why that's so unfortunate. And that is going to be a backbreaker. But there's no reason to think at its best this team can't win the American, or at least win the American Conference tournament. And so, you look at it that way and you feel good about it. I'll tell you this. If this team shoots free throws that way, they are going to win a lot of, and I don't mean just because they made almost all of them, which is great. They took a lot of them, and they're not going to be a big time 3-point shooting team. That's not going to be what this team is. And that's okay. It's, it's a little counter to college basketball, but it's fine if they are able to be a high percentage at the line, because if you look at their offense right now and you look at their players and you look at who is likely to be the offensive catalyst, I would say there are a handful of guys: Bell, Washington, Hill, and Harlan Beverly. Mm-hmm. Those are always going to be the guys at any given point that can take. And what do all of those guys do well? They attack the basket. Get to the hoop. And so if you've got all of those guys attacking the basket and you can get to the line, that's where I think that Wichita State will be at its best. And, yes, they'll have to defend. Yes, they've got to get better rebounding. Yes, they have to do all these things. They've got to defend the three a little better. I'm sitting there watching the game, and I told my wife who was with me, I said, if K-State shoots a high percentage here, Wichita State's going to be in real trouble. K-State did not, but that wasn't because they were getting bad looks. They just weren't hitting their threes. That still feels like the thing that Wichita State needs to improve that could get, because that's what, DePaul, MKC, these teams, if a team shoots moderately well from three, they're still getting too many good looks. K-State had a lot of good looks. They just didn't make any of them outside of Hassan in the game. And so, okay, what does that look like if K-State shoots a little better percentage? It wouldn't have been the difference ultimately of 19 points, but it would have been a whole lot closer if they're making anything. I mean, you've got Castillo 0 for 7, right? You've got all these things happening. By the way, get Buddy Rich on the floor. He was clearly the best athlete for them. Anywho, on the Wichita State side, that would be where I would look at them needing to get better, is defending the three. They've got to be able to get to that and defend that a little bit better. But again, amateur basketball brain here. If you do that, you probably give something up a little bit defensive rebounding, and that's also something that hurts them. They need Ronnie DeGray back. They need DeGray to be able to just kind of live down there so the other guys can afford to get out there and be a little tighter, I would say, on the three-point defense.
Yeah, and that's something that Paul Mills has told me. I've asked specifically about that. Ronnie DeGray is just, whenever they go and they grade every single play, Ronnie, there is maybe one play an entire game where Ronnie doesn't do his job. And most of the time that's guarding the three-point line, then also being the guy that attacks the glass and gets rebounds. And we talk about attacking the rim and living in the paint, this Wichita State team. But what allows them to do that so much is how well they play defense and how, if they are playing good defense and rebounding. We talk about all year how athletic this K-State team is, how big they are. They have 2 7-footers, but yet K-State was out-rebounded in the second half by Wichita State. The Shockers beat them in fast break points 16-2. When you look at this K-State team, you think they'd be great in fast break. They dominated them in the paint 44-28. I mean, that's Wichita State basketball. This isn't going to be a team that's going to go wide up for 13 threes. No, they're going to try to get 50 points in the paint a game, and they can do it a multitude of ways. Corey Washington has been an absolute revelation. I think he can have a first-team all-conference kind of season. Justin Hill certainly looks like he's going to be in the running for that as well. And interesting how well Harlan Beverly responds to coming off the bench the other night. 31 great minutes, I thought, as well. This team, they're playing good basketball aside from the Kansas City loss, which is obviously frustrating.
I know.
They're playing good going into conference.
That's it. And that loss. And we knew that was coming. You knew it was coming. I'm glad we saw him respond well, but it was like, God, that thing is going to stick out and be annoying all year long. They lost to Paul too by 19. I don't want to make it too rosy. They need to follow it up now. And they get their, it's not technically an exhibition, I don't think, but you get the Friends game, and then they start conference play after the first of the year. But it's not all rosy, right? Like they've gone 3-3 in their last 6. They've got to get better, and they need to flex on people. And it sounds like we could get DeGray back here.
I'd expect him back
second week of January. So maybe Charlotte, that home Charlotte game at the latest would be, I think, where things are trending to. So maybe he misses 3 conference games. But here's the good news for the Shockers is they start at Temple's not an easy game, but they don't get Memphis, for instance, or North Texas until late January. So that gets them some time to get those guys in there. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's I'm the whole first of all, the Friends thing not being an exhibition is just a weird deal.
It's a weird thing.
But yeah, the Temple is a tough start to the AAC. Wichita State did win there last year, if I remember right. It was the first time that they'd won there in quite some time. But they have a little bit to get their legs under them before a big trip to Memphis late in January, another game against North Texas. We're going to learn a lot about this team just over the next month because, I mean, Charlotte's a good team as well. Wichita State's the 4th best team in the Ken Palm out of the American, somehow behind a 7-6 Florida Atlantic team, which hasn't really shown a lot this year. But this team has the whereabouts to be there competing with Memphis, I think, at the end of the year. And if Paul Mills can keep this group together, they had a pretty down spout last year. But I think this team just has too much veteran leadership, too much experience when you look at the guys that they brought in, A.J. McGinnis, Corey Washington. I think the makings are there for what's going to be a fun next, hopefully, 3+ months.
I'm so happy for Shocker fans. I'm happy for the program that they got that kind of atmosphere in there. So good. So glad it happened because they deserve it. They needed it. It all needed to be there. All right, let's take one more break here. Last full segment coming. We have 2 more breaks, but we're going to take one here for the last full segment of the show, and we're going to tidy things up a little bit. We've got Monday Night Football, anything standing out to us from a betting perspective, and then a real quick preview of Chiefs-Steelers on Wednesday. Next time we have a show, it'll be after that game happens. So we'll do both of those things next when we return. Don't go away, Sports Daily. Coming right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20+ flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20+ flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Brandon, how'd your bets do this weekend?
If you were betting on Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson, probably pretty good, I'd say. Or if you had them both in fantasy, we have a big Wichita league that you're in, you saw?
Yeah. I had just a devastating opening round loss. Devastating. Unbelievable.
I'm one win from going back-to-back.
Great upsets of all time. But yeah, no, it's been a good stretch after a bad stretch. Tonight's game is something. The Packers 14-point favorites against the Saints. I'm not real sure how to handle tonight's game, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's going to be a tricky one. I'll probably take a swing at it on a small amount with some long odds, silly bet. But other than that, I don't really know. I mean, I would take the Packers if I had to take a side here. I don't know what the Saints are going to do, but I don't really love any piece of this.
If anything, I'd look at just Josh Jacobs props. That's probably the way to go. I think Jordan Love's gonna be able to throw the ball around, but
how much does he need to? Right? Yeah, that's
exactly because they got a big one next week.
Speaking of big ones next week, which is technically 2 days away now, the Chiefs play the Steelers on the road. So they, the short week coming on the road is tough, but they go to. But Pittsburgh was at Baltimore. Yeah, yes. So they get to come home. Chiefs have to go on the road. Like there are traps in this game for sure. Pickens being back is a trap, right? There are lots of little things for the Chiefs. I think when you get into it, if you can figure out a way to prevent Pittsburgh from beating you over the top, you will beat Pittsburgh. And that's easier said than done. Again, they deserve some credit for the marriage of Russell Wilson to George Pickens, because what they've done is they've found one of the best deep ball throwers in the history of the sport in Russell Wilson and paired him up with a guy who goes and gets it, as good as anybody in football, not named Justin Jefferson. So they deserve credit for that. And that's going to be a challenge, I think, for Kansas City, especially if they don't have Chris Jones, and they probably won't, to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, Kansas City's the better team, and they should be able to go get this win. Man, on this short rest, it's going to be tough. Like it will be tougher than it feels because Pittsburgh has stumbled a little bit here and Kansas City's heating up. It's a little deceiving, I would say.
Speaking of Justin Jefferson, how about that game winner yesterday? That was something. But I think there's just two things if you're the Chiefs that you need to be aware of. It's George Pickens, and then it's also TJ Watt. When you talk about game records in the NFL, he is absolutely one of the best. He can go for 3-4 sacks in the game. He can rally off a couple strip sacks, and we saw Jawan Taylor. He had the little knee issue in the last game, was getting looked at, and that's trouble. I don't even know who's the backup right tackle. at this point. Ethan Driscoll. So
it's tricky.
If there's an issue, yeah, it's going to be stopping George Pickens and it's going to be stopping TJ Watt.
Do we think Watt's 100% though? Like I mean,
no,
he played.
Even 75% of TJ Watt is
right.
Top 5 pass rusher in this league, I think.
Well, look, it gets into that same old thing for the Chiefs, right? How do you defend that? Because there was a time where Pittsburgh scared you a lot, and maybe they still do. Maybe they still should. I'm not 100%, but Pittsburgh has the DNA of a bad matchup for the Chiefs because they have a great pass rush and they can get you over the top. If Pickens and Watt are fully healthy, then this game does scare me quite a bit for the Chiefs. The one thing I'll say, though, is in conjunction now with running the ball for Kansas City, you do have, with now Hollywood Brown there, you have 5 receiving options that are all very comfortable with quick routes, right? None of the Chiefs receivers at the current moment need to get downfield to be effective. And so the Chiefs can continue to utilize that even more than ever with Hollywood Brown. We know DeAndre Hopkins is great with a quick route. He's made some huge plays for Kansas City. Now with Worthy coming on and you add Hollywood Brown and then the 2 tight ends, like they should be able to neutralize the pass rush to some degree. But boy, that's going to have to be so strategic. Like how many times in the pocket would you ever by design keep Patrick Mahomes, for more than 3 seconds? Because I would say 1, 2. Like if you want to design up a couple of deep shots, but yeah, I don't even know if you can avoid it. I don't even know if you want to do that. I think you come out and you try to run the ball and see. Pittsburgh's got a good defense, but it's at least try it. But it could be a bad matchup.
Yeah, it could, and it will be interesting because Kareem Hunt outtouched Isaiah Pacheco again this week. Is Isaiah Pacheco going to be fresh this week? That could be huge for this team. Could it be a big Samaje Perine game? It's going to be interesting to see where they go because it seems like every week we sit here and say the Chiefs just need to run the ball and it'll be a good matchup for them. And then we sit here the next week and say, oh, they didn't run the ball like we needed them to. But who knows? Maybe this is the week.
Well, look, last week was the week. They ran the ball a lot last week against the Browns. They had those 2 drives in the early fourth quarter where they didn't. Other than that, I think they had 26 running back carries. Like that's as many as you're going to get. And that's fine. Like that number's okay. I don't know that you're going to get 26 against the Steelers because their offense is better than the Browns was. But I mean, you'd like to because that means it's effective. I think they should start there. I mean, look, if you're sitting in any Chiefs meeting and you say, what's the most important thing? And it's that Mahomes is healthy, right? Well, if that's the most important thing, limiting the opportunities for that pass rush should be the most important thing in the offensive game plan. And I think you can do that through the run, and I think we'll see them also do it through a short pass game. If it's a 2-step and drop, but you just don't want Mahomes with that ball in his hand more than like 2.5 seconds in this game, not just because of the turnover risk, not just because of your risk to winning the game, but to the risk of keeping him upright and not furthering injury, right? And that's what we've been scared of forever with this offensive line play is that very thing. And this is a game where it's going to be on display. Pittsburgh can get after the quarterback. But listen, Houston, second best team in football at rushing the passer. Okay, so they're not they're not going to be better than that. Collectively, Pittsburgh won't be, but they do have that one guy, right? That can do it. So if Kansas City can handle to some degree, and how many sacks? Go back and look. How many sacks did Houston even have in the game?
1. And I think it was on the second drive. Usually on the first or second drive of the game.
I wasn't. Yeah. So think about that for a second, and that is critical, and probably something we should have talked about in that game anyway. Houston came into that game outside of Denver, I believe, as the second best pass rush in football. Kansas City has to have given up the most sacks this year. I don't know what the number is, but just we all know.
I think the Bears are first, but
they've been giving up 5 and 6 sacks a game, basically. They kept Houston to 1. I think that is probably, and we haven't talked about it, because Tooney gets beat, but collectively, the fact that they were able to keep Mahomes upright 5 times better than they have been basically in every week leading up to it is significant. They do that again against Pittsburgh. I think we're going to, it'll be a very different vibe around that offensive line. They're still not that good again, in pass rush, in pass blocking, but they're good enough. If they do it again, if they go back to back on that, like they did against Houston, things look really good for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and a lot of it is the reason that he wasn't getting sacked is it's a lot of quick stuff. Xavier Worthy had 11 targets, and
right.
I'd be curious to see how many of those were within 4 or 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. It is of note that the Steelers, since they beat the Ravens on the 17th of November, their last 5 games, so the last month plus, their only wins are against the Bengals and the Browns. They lost to the they lost a game, and then they lost the last 2 weeks to the Eagles and the Ravens. So they're not playing their best ball right now.
No, and
they haven't been competitive the last 2 weeks.
It's tied to Pickens.
Exactly.
I don't know that there's a receiver in football, like a singular receiver, that has a bigger impact on what the offense can do, right? And there are better receivers than George Pickens. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand. Certainly better receivers. But are there receivers that have as big an impact on their team than he appears to have on that offense? Because I don't know that there is. And he's been out since December 1st.
Maybe A.J. Brown, because they're undefeated when he's played until yesterday. But you're hard pressed to find where one receiver dictates so much of a team's.
And that's not a good thing, by the way. Like you do not want a receiver to be like the star, because then if you take that receiver away, like I don't know how the Chiefs, and maybe I haven't listened to what Steve Spagnuolo said yesterday. I'll go check the logs there at some point. I don't know if they'll shadow Pickens with McDuffie, but it's an interesting idea, right? If you know that team can get you kind of one way, and you happen to have one of the best corners in football, and I know some teams do it and some teams don't. Some teams won't shadow guys like that, and some teams will just say, yeah, we're going to put our best guy on your best guy and go from there. I don't know if the Chiefs will do that.
But they bracket him with a safety, I think.
But it's an interesting thought. Make somebody else on that team beat you, because they're not running the ball very well right now. They don't have a lot of other options in the pass game. Make somebody else beat you, and don't let turnovers beat you. So you better keep an eye on TJ Watt and keep the chances for turnovers low by getting the ball out quickly. But that game, you'll hear it Wednesday. You'll hear it Wednesday over on your home of the Chiefs, KNSS. So look forward to that game. It should be fun, and it could be all wrapped up on Christmas Day for the Chiefs and home field advantage. Man, how's that sound, Chiefs fans? All of the things that have happened this season. Think about that, Chiefs fans. That's crazy. All the injuries, the poor play on the left, on the bookends of the line. They're 14-1, can wrap it up. Got to get it done though. It's a tight spread for a reason. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on the early portion of this week here on Sports Daily next.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it. It's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, everybody. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. So again, Brandon will be back in Thursday with Paul, and then TJ and Brandon will have you Friday as well. No shows tomorrow or Wednesday. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Again, you'll have the Chiefs Wednesday. Don't forget about that. You've got Monday Night Football tonight. Brandon, I'll see you tonight on 12 News.
Yeah, I'm apologizing to your wife in advance because we have football tonight. We have football on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
Let's have a week.
My kids always ask, why do you have to watch it? And I say, guys, that's what I do for a living. Never seems to hit right. For Jad and Brandon, I'm Jacob. We'll see you guys Thursday. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Headquarters 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Jacob, I am recording for a promo.
Let's just take it generic, Jad. There's a lot happening there.